We always start the bad before the good and go over the sits before the starts. The first running back I'm going to tell you to sit in week 1 is going to be Breece Hall. Hall was the most touted running back in this year's draft, but expectations need to be tempered for week 1. Breece Hall will be playing at home against the Baltimore Ravens, who boasted a great defense against the run in 2021. The Ravens defense swarms around the football, and it would be very difficult to establish the run against this front seven. You may have taken Breece Hall as your second running back off the board, but if you have good backup options, it may be in your best interest to go ahead and leave Hall on the bench in week 1. The next running back we're going to talk about is Damien Harris. Not only is Harris playing against a much improved division rival against the Dolphins, but he also has another running back, Ramondre Stevenson, over his shoulder wanting to take his job from him. I believe it's going to be difficult to get the ball rolling in Miami. The last game in Miami in 2021, Harris had 11 carries for 37 yards and a touchdown. Also, in the last 8 games, to include the playoffs, Harris only carried the ball over 11 times just once. I'd put Harris on the shelf to see what happens and what he can provide, and maybe you even have a better option in week 1. Now on to the next running back I'm going to tell you about and tell you to sit would be Rashaad Penny. The Broncos had a solid ranking against the run last season, and they are only set to do better in 2022. Penny will no longer have Russell Wilson at the helm, and defenses will be able to key in on Penny more often, which should close down some of the running lanes. Overall, it's going to be rough on fantasy owners who own Seahawks and depend on them to do well in 2022. If possible, steer clear of Penny in week 1. Now we're on to the good, so let's talk about the starts. The first running back we have to talk about is James Conner. Conner is at home taking on the Kansas City Chiefs without Chase Edmonds in the fold. Conner should have every opportunity to be the main ball carrier for this offense. Look for Conner to be utilized heavily with DeAndre Hopkins out of commission. The last thing the Cardinals want to do is to go into a shootout with the Chiefs without their main guy Hopkins on the field. Look for Conner to get plenty of work in week 1, and he should be in all of your lineups. Now we're on to the next running back in week 1 with Travis Etienne. Etienne will be away against the Washington Commanders, where he'll have ample amount of opportunity to shine. Now that Etienne is back on the field with his college teammate Trevor Lawrence, look for Etienne to be on the field early and often, especially on passing downs. I wouldn't look too much into James Robinson being the main ball carrier for this team. They have to let Travis Etienne eat. Start Etienne with confidence in week 1. On to the next running back in week 1, and we're going to talk about Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones will be away at the Minnesota Vikings. With Devontae Adams out of town, the focus should be more on the run game, and this is where Jones will flourish. Now, along with the run game, look for Jones to get more opportunities with swing passes out of the backfield with unproven wide receivers on the outside. Overall, you can't go wrong with Aaron Jones in week 1. Now let's look at our Bengal Tiger Start of the Week. Our Bengal Tiger Start of the Week will be Joe Mixon. Mixon will be playing at home against the Pittsburgh Steelers team, who played awful against the run in 2021. With a much improved offensive line to open up holes for Mixon, look for Mixon to run early and often. While I see Joe Burrow struggling in this game, Mixon, on the other hand, should have an easy time finding chunk yardage, which should give you a nice total in week 1. If you have Mixon on your roster, be excited to see his performance in week 1.